That's a highlight, one of the problems we're dealing with right now, and we had been questioned about it, is the doors at the Anajon. So I've been updating you with the schedule. I just did get a spreadsheet of the work done. Hopefully, it's scheduled to be done October 9th. Some of the base causes of it were that the door frames were not anchored at the base properly. You know, you can hang a door on a residential building, and it doesn't need to be anchored as tightly as a smoke door does on the bottom. So when the door slams or closes, if it isn't anchored properly on the bottom, then it can shift, and then because that door doesn't stay plumb and square, it throws it off. So they're working on that. I have forwarded information to you, and if you have any specific questions, I'm available to answer them for you.
When you say it wasn't anchored properly, what do you mean by anchored?
When you hang a door, and wood frame, a lot of times you just shim them and shoot nails in them.
Right.
On the bottom, there's a clip that's supposed to be in there, and this company that came in that's doing the repair right now discovered that these clips weren't. They fasten the base of that door frame to the concrete on the bottom, makes it much more stable, and that was one of the main problems. And now it's they're coming up with a way where they'll have to cut out just a small piece, is what they're proposing, by the door, so they can get in there and anchor it to the concrete properly. So that's just one of the problems, but we'll correct it, and it'll be corrected. That's one of the issues when companies go from residential to commercial. There's little things that they don't know, and it's unfortunate someone didn't catch that earlier. But you assume, and maybe we need to have people look at it closer, that the contractor, when they're licensed, they're supposed to have a certain level of competency. But it's just a small thing, but a small thing that you overlook can have a lot of consequences. So, but the schedule, I did send you the spreadsheet. It gives you the status.
I've seen that.
Okay, so and that's.
So over 300 doors need to be altered or fixed, or
they went through every single door. Some of them are minor, and they don't, but since the contractor is responsible, he had every single door inspected. That's 317 are every door in the place. The ones that are going to take more impact are the smoke doors and the automatic closing doors, and so. They did lose a couple of days this week because of the state surveyors were in there, so they pulled off, but they're back in again now. So, and they unless there's some material that they can't get, like they may have to replace a couple of the door frames. So that, but we'll stay on it, and I'll keep you informed and let you know.
Who is the vendor that's working on it?
Right now, ultimately the general contractor is responsible, and that's Kraus Anderson. And the subcontractor, they have right now to repair it. First, they were going to go to LaForce, because LaForce is a door expert, and they're the ones that sell the things. But LaForce, because of schools and stuff going on, they can't dedicate the staff and the people, so their schedule wasn't satisfactory. So we told Kraus that time frame wasn't satisfactory, so they hired IEI, and they have experts at hanging these doors too. So they're the ones that are doing it right now. And because this is under the Kraus is still responsible for it. We're going back through them so that they can, we don't want to pay for it twice.
Did Kraus put the doors in?
No.
Who?
No, they had a subcontract.
Who was that?
It was Kodiak, I think.
You don't know, or who?
No, it was Kodiak.
Why is that? Why are you afraid to say that?
Because, well, I'm pro Indian preference, and I don't, we just need to help them out a little more. When you have Indian preference vendors, sometimes when they're making that step from residential to, we need to help out and maybe give them a little more help during the when we do hire them.
Well,
So-
I think ultimately it's the contractor who's responsible, and your department is responsible totally to oversee the project that Kraus does and his subs do. And so I thought your department was in there to double check things.
They are in there and they are inspecting, but you're not in there 24/7, and some things like that. When you hire a contractor, they have a license. They're supposed to pass contracting tests. They're supposed to know code. They're supposed to know all of these items, and so you assume that they have a level of competency because they have insurance, they have licenses, they're supposed to have passed these tests, and once you see that they're certified and licensed, you assume that they know what they're doing. You don't go in and micromanage them and watch everything they do. A door frame is relatively simple, and you would expect a licensed contractor to easily be able to put them in. And when they put them in, the little increment that anchors them to the cement floor is hidden. You don't want these anchors sticking out in the middle of a door frame. You want them hidden, so they're in the wall. You don't see them when they're, So some of the issues too are like were framing issues and things like that too that came up, and we did work with them. We did have a lot more time out there inspecting them and trying to help them and keep them on. We have a huge file about that project. So,
one thing on that comment is if did you refer this over to the Indian Preference Office and put that in the file of the Kodiak? So, for future references, that it would be in the file, because there was another individual that did work there that wasn't capable of doing the work there either. That was put in their file. So
yeah, we
to
do
be
that.
consistent, I would like to see that happen. So,
Okay.
and then number 2 would be the trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
The roads over there, is it possible that we can get somebody to go in there and patch, because I guess there's big potholes in there that are wrecking their people's cars?
Oh yeah. Okay.
If we
Yeah.
could have someone go over and just,
All right.
if it's not
Yep.
going to be done until next spring, could we have someone?
Yeah.
to fix it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay.
How much longer is it going to take to fix the doors? Because it's going on 2 months since we first inquired about them.
It's scheduled to be completed October 9th.
Okay.
Totally.
You spoke earlier of insurance. Does the insurance cover the loss of revenue that the tribe has experienced because they're not able to utilize some of those rooms until everything's done?
I don't know. That would be probably our insurance people could answer that better than I
I
could.
think someone needs to analyze, and I know you don't analyze the
Yeah,
financials, but we should get some kind of analysis, financial analysis of the cost to the tribe because of this delay. And then when we get a number there, we consider that the next time we deal with some of these developers that we seem to pick all the time. And this is an example of where it's costing probably the tribe money, and it's also costing our elders the ability to move into that facility. So we need some kind of cost analysis, I believe, and I know that's not your area, but we'll try and follow up with that, and then
The
that
project
cost
team-
analysis needs to go to
Yeah.
Development Division as they consider some of these developers in the future.
The project team would have people on there that could do that, so
Really? Oh,
I'll,
okay.
yeah,
Great.
they were, okay.
Okay. Could you include that in your next report then, or?
Yes, I'll hopefully have an answer before then that I can forward to you.
Great. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Wesley?
Mr. Chairman, question I got is the meal site has been numerous times been changed, and you're talking about revenue loss. We got, I guess, temporary people over there in the meal now. Is there cost can be overruns because our meal site is not opening until, I believe, November 4th? So is there going to be, if that's going to be, is that a set date, or are we going to come November 4th and got another delay of the meal site? That's a big concern with us because we understand we're paying for temporary employees to run our food service at Anna John's Nursing Home.
I'm not aware that any of the facilities, is the reason that the food thing is transferred. I don't know.
Well, that's
I
what
can-
was reported to the business committee about 2 weeks ago when Debbie was here and other several forums, is that, one, the health center beds are only at 50% of capacity because those doors aren't fixed, and two, the meal site program has not been transferred into the new building because of the doors, and the physical therapy program has not been transferred from the health center to the Anna John because of the doors. So there's a lot of backlog caused, which is causing extra money, like Wes has just described. So I think it's imperative that you have a communication with the administration of the Anna John, and that you get this contract in here to make this a priority and give us some kind of a schedule so they can start coordinating the movement of these programs into a building. We did the ribbon cutting in February. It opened in June. We're going into October. I think this should really be a pressing issue for you to want the contractors to remedy
Yeah,
sooner than later.
I'll check with the project manager. He's in contact with the project team. It's back to the old statement. They say, do it right the first time, or how much time do you have to do it over again? And it's much more difficult to do it over because, the easiest way is to rip all of the doors out and redo the framing. It's much, much more expensive and time consuming. Now we're coming up with innovative ways to repair it. And, and it goes back to the qualifications of the first installers. So,
But the installers are still responsible to the main contractor. The main contractor is not off the hook in this instance.
no, he's not.
You can
But
blame it on the subs all you
the
want, but the main
subcontractor-
contractor is supposed to approve the subs' work.
the
and should be
subcontractor
monitoring
did
it.
the work, and now we have to correct it, so.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the Development Division report.
Support.
Motion by Paul Ninham to accept the report, supported by David Jordan. Discussion, Patty?
Just one more question on a different issue, the Oneida Cemetery. Could you just give us a quick update on what's going on there? We're going to deal with the issue or start looking at it at the CDPC level, but we were supposed to have a meeting yesterday with the Enrollment Trust Department, our joint meeting, and Cheryl from Enrollments was giving us an update on some troubles at the cemetery, again with water. And I see you have it in your report too.
Yeah, I had just seen that it's going to be on the CDPC, and I just had briefly talked to Pat Pelkey prior to, and so we're going to meet on it, and we'll have something when we come to the CDPC. So we just started to look at it, and so we'll have.
Can you tell me about who manages the maintenance of the cemetery? Because I think part of the question is whether Development Division will continue to do that.
Well, when we get assigned new things that the tribe undertakes, it's like a unbudgeted mandate. If we don't have enough people, sometimes it's we could do it, but it would be probably at the end of our, when we're busy, they wouldn't have enough time. We don't have the manpower or equipment. I don't know. So that was one of the things Pat and I were going to talk about, coming up with some ideas how we could do that. And so we did have some ideas. So
And are you evaluating the water? Because the issue seems to be water again.
Yeah,
The
we'll,
cemetery should not have, probably not have been built
yeah.
at
We'll-
that place.
Yeah, we'll do that too. And we'll have some report when we have CDPC, so. Okay, I haven't had a chance to look into it yet, so,
Okay,
but I will.
okay, thanks, Butch.
I have a question on your financial report you submitted.
Yep.
On the top, it says it's September through September of 2013. We're not through the month yet. And on the bottom, it says 10 months, and on the top two columns, it doesn't identify what they represent. Is it year-to-date? Is it 10 months? Is it as of August? I don't know which one is budget, which one is actual. I mean, I could guess, but I don't want to guess. But these are just standard formats for financial reporting.
You mean page 3?
Yes, page 3.
Well, it's worked up by our analyst, and he just compares it to budget. He doesn't have it labeled on here, but
See, on the
budget.
top, it says through September. On the bottom of the chart, it says 10 months. Through September would be 12 months or year-to-date,
yeah.
potentially, even though we're not through the month. So I don't know how they can report this month's
Well,
numbers yet.
he just took it off of the last sheet. It's probably just mislabeled. If it's through September, that's the one he used.
Yeah, but the top two, actually not only the top two, but all of the columns are not identified as what they represent, which is usually standard.
Yeah.
Could you let me know and just
Yeah, I
email
will.
me? Send me an
I'll
email
have it.
with what these represent?
I'll have it.
Okay.
I'll have it
Thank you.
corrected.
Okay, are we ready to vote for this committee? Okay, we have a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Kathy?
First Thursday of every month at 9 o'clock in this room. The next one will be October 3rd.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all those, we have a motion, could you read it? Motion to accept the report. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Butch.